warned that I was going to be introducing a different storyteller, a different liar for this next one. But I want to acknowledge Steve McClure, who is with us watching today. He, unfortunately, due to a second set of circumstances beyond his control, wasn't able to join us on the stage today. But yay, so glad you're here watching the show. So give Steve a round of applause. Yay! Thank you. But needing a fill-in liar, our next teller immediately came to mind because Hank Roubicek can dispense a fib quite effortlessly, and I'm relying on his background to get him through this. Hank is a retired communications professor, creator of So What's Your Story on KPTF Houston. He's on the board of the TSA, and he's a jolly good sport because here he is filling in and totally willing to make a fool of himself. So please welcome Hank Roubicek with It's History.
Hi. You know, I hate, and that's not a word I use very often, I hate people that brag, don't you? I mean, when they brag, I mean, you know, oh, look, the sky is clear. I did it. You know, people like that, people who brag, take credit for everything. Now, I'm sharing this with you, and I want you to listen carefully because I want you to understand that I'm not bragging. I'm not bragging at all, but in a few moments, you're going to learn that I'm the most eloquent, dynamic person you've ever met. But but understand something, I'm not bragging. I'm going to prove it to you. It's all history. It really is. When I was a kid growing up, I stuttered. I never raised my hand in class. By the time I got it out, it would be time for summer break. And if I didn't happen, you know, people would laugh at me. So I didn't raise my hand a whole lot. And I realized that this was just not a good thing. So I decided to get a speech therapist, right? And I did. And speech therapy is really, really expensive. I mean, even in the 1970s, it was incredibly expensive. And nobody was going to pay for it, so I had to get a job. Now, what am I supposed to do? I'm 16, 17 years old. I'm a stutterer. What am I going to do for a living, really? But, you know, I'm a religious guy. I'm a spiritual guy. I believe in God. And I thought, what if I sold Bibles house to house, right? I knew people made money doing that. So I got this job as a Bible salesman, and I went house to house. Now, I may have been a stutterer, and I may have had a lot of problems, my self-concept, physical, whatever the issues might be, but I was clever. I knew that I could harness some common sense. I knew that I could be resourceful. So I decided to use my stuttering in my favor. And I would take a Bible and I'd go up to someone's house, I'd knock on the door, and I would say, hello, I want to sell a Bible. It has 2,319 words in it. You want to buy it, or you want me to read it to you? Yeah. You would be amazed at how many Bibles I sold. Billy Graham wouldn't have done any better. I guarantee it. Even Moses would have wondered, Hank, how did you do it? I said, I don't know, Mo. You know, I just did it. I mean, I was really very significant in that community after a while because people said, my God, this kid is stuttering and he's making all this money. He's really an inspiration to all of us. I was cool. I really was. As a matter of fact, I was it. That's what I was. When kids in the neighborhood would play tag with me and they go, tag, you're it, I'd say, you're damn right I'm it. I mean, I was simply it, right? But now, well, I was going to college. And I hadn't quite overcome my problem yet, but I was coming close. So I did my undergraduate at Ohio State, and I looked to see if I could make some money, and I didn't really know what I was going to major in, but I knew that there was a job for a disc jockey, WOSU. And I thought, well, you know, it's nice if I can kind of show people that I can speak, but more importantly, what a great way to get dates, you know? I mean, when you're 18, that's all you're thinking about. So I applied for this job, okay, as a disc jockey, and the person in the audition was ridiculous. You know what his name was? Dr. Charlie Manson, okay? I mean, give me a break. So I go into this audition, and it's, hi, Dr. Manson, all right? And I explained to him very elaborately the kind of therapy that I was going through, and this is important. The kind of therapy that I did is that I had to look in a mirror every morning, and I had to articulate things and watch my lips, watch my tongue, watch all of my speech tools work together to make sure that I sounded like a human being. So, for example, I had to look in a mirror. I told him, and I said, you know, because I had a difference between P's and B's and F's and V's and phonemes and diphthongs and all sorts of strange things. And I was just looking in a mirror trying to articulate things. Of course, I also learned why people mumble. You ever think about why people mumble? Not because they don't know what to say. They mumble because they don't use their mouth. That's what I used, right? I realized, boy, if I use my mouth, I don't even have to mumble. I really sound clear. I'm not suggesting you walk around all of your life going, hello, how are you today? But we have to do more of that. So I'm explaining to this guy, that's the kind of therapy I do. And why am I explaining it to him? Because I got a makeup mirror with me. He wants to know, why do you have a makeup mirror with you? He said, well, I can't speak without a mirror. I've got to look at a mirror. I mean, that's what my therapy told me, right? So I'm looking in a mirror to check out to see if I'm speaking correctly. And of course, everybody smoked in those days too, so I'm armed not only with a makeup mirror so I could speak, because I can't speak without a mirror. I have to look to see, to make sure that I'm articulating things clearly. But I have this beanbag ashtray. You remember the kind in 1970. We all walked around with beanbag, we all sat in class and smoked. So I'm walking in to the audition. And there's Charlie Manson, Dr. Manson, okay? And he says, why do you have a mirror? And I said, well, I just explained everything to you. I explained that I have to. He said, you mean you're going to sit here with the mirror? I said, I kind of have to. Is that okay? And he said, well, yeah, I mean, no one's going to see you. It's radio, right? So I walk in, and I'm sitting there in front of the mic, and I'm getting ready for this audition. Now, I had problems with P's and B's, so what's the first thing I get? He gives me this tongue twister. Big Bad Bill bought Bull Baba Beer. I said, oh, my God. So I take out the mirror, and I look at it. Big Bad Bill bought Bull Baba Beer. Now, I didn't know how to interpret this exactly, but he looked at me and said, that was astonishing. Okay. He gave me another tongue twister, Peter Piper, of course, and he said, Peter Baker bought Better Butter, and all these strange ones. He gave me some music to improvise, and I introduced some music, and I gave the weather, I gave the news, all that kind of stuff, and he said, wow, you're really pretty good. Mirror and all. So we sat there for a few moments, Dr. Charlie Manson and I, and we had a cigarette and talked about radio and talked about the kind of programs that I might be doing. And I got the job, stuttering and all. Some of my friends asked, how did you get that job? It must have been tenacity. It must have been perseverance. You must really be good. It must have been the therapy. I said, nah, I just did it with smoke and mirrors. Thank you.